or as Fremont. So in this last topic, I do want to give some sort of like a PSA on, I guess, my thoughts on Tesla Enhanced Autopilot and Tesla Full Self-Driving, and whether I think it's actually worth it. I get this question a lot, I feel like, on whether should someone pay that extra $6,000 for Enhanced Autopilot or $15,000 for Full Self-Driving. And so we'll talk about that on what I actually think. And maybe there's a way that if you are interested in actually trying those features, there's actually a much more cheaper way that a lot of people don't know about, that they don't even really like announce it on anywhere. And so I'll show you actually on how to do it, or how to try those features for potentially only $100 to $200. So we'll talk about that. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on a Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us take a look at this. So when you build a Tesla, you can see right here, we've got the Model Y up on the screen. At this point, I certainly would not recommend putting an order in unless you really don't care about the $7,500 federal tax credit. But if you take a look down here, right, of course, there's a lot of different options that you can choose. You can do long range or performance. There is a third trim, of course, which is the Model Y all-wheel drive standard range, which is $2,000 less than this current price. Or actually, no, $3,000, right? Let's see. I think it's almost $3,000 less than this current price. And then of course you've got color, you've got wheels, and interior color and seating layout. But when you get to this section, you've got a lot of different options here, right? You've got Enhanced Autopilot for $6,000, which has Navigate Autopilot, Auto Lane Change, Auto Park, Summons, and Smart Summons. But the fun fact with all of this at the moment, at least with the Enhanced Autopilot, is because the 2023 Tesla Model Y and Model 3 does not come with USS or ultrasonic sensors, a lot of these features are actually disabled. But even if they were able, like a lot of these are, I think, party tricks to me. I really did it. I've had the Enhanced Autopilot and I've had Full Self-Driving, and none of them were, really something that I would use every single day. I did use kind of Summon one time to move the car up just a little bit. But really the only feature here that is used a lot when I actually had it was Auto Lane Change. And only because when you're in the lane on Autopilot, you can actually just hit the ticker, and then the turn signal would actually make the lane change for you. But the one thing is that Autopilot, is standard on all the Tesla vehicles that you can buy today, brand new, and that's what everybody thinks that they want. That's the system that keeps you in the lane, accelerate and decelerates for you, hits the brakes, and it's really great on the highway drives, open road highways where you can commute to, or any sort of road trips. That's where it certainly makes a lot of sense. So really, is Enhanced Autopilot worth it? Not for $6,000, and certainly not for really only for the auto lane changes. And so I saw this tweet, shout out to Black Model 3 Zach on Twitter, and he put a poll out there, is Full Self-Driving worth $15,000 in its current state? And a full almost 70% said no, it is not. And then he did a follow-up poll. If you answer no, what is it worth then? And actually a good 40% said $4,000 to $6,000. And so I thought that was a little high. I still think Full Self-Driving is worth maybe $2,000 to $4,000 at best, because it definitely is only worth $2,000 to $4,000 at best on the used side, maybe even $3,000 in terms of if you're comparing two used model whatevers, and one has Full Self-Driving and one doesn't. You should really only add like $2,000 to $3,000 in valuation to that other vehicle that has the Full Self-Driving. But taking a look at this, like Full Self-Driving at $15,000, it's definitely not worth it. But if you really want to try these features, if you really want to see like what it is all about, there's actually a way to get Full Self-Driving and Enhanced Autopilot for $100 to $200 a month. And so this is a little bit of a PSA, because a lot of people, instead of plunking down this $6,000 to $15,000 all at once, to bring this vehicle, like this is a Model Y from $55,000. If you add Full Self-Driving, it's a $70,000 vehicle. That's a ton of money. There is actually a subscription policy or a subscription program. If you want the basic autopilot to full self-driving or to enhance autopilot, it is $100 a month. If you want the full self-driving capability, it's $200 a month. So I would say my recommendation, save the $6,000 or save the $15,000 to keep that in your pocket, and certainly just try full self-driving or enhanced autopilot for a month or two and pay just a subscription. And so that way you could really see what it's all about. So that's just a little bit of my PSA, save your money and see if you can try and do one of these instead of plunking down all of it all at once. And then there's also a lot of variety of issues as well. Like if, let's say you get enhanced autopilot or full self-driving and you get into some sort of, accident or total loss, the valuations of this kind of stuff it's kind of hard to value at the end of the day for used cars. So that's why I would say if you're trying to just protect, the value of it and risk on like that, I would just say just do the subscription if you really want to try it at the end of the day. And you'll probably notice that it's not necessarily worth the $5, $6, or even definitely not $15,000 that Tesla is trying to charge for it. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Have you tried the enhanced autopilot or the full self-driving, and do you completely agree? I know Happy Hippo definitely agrees. But we're going to get into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down in the description is the Patreon link where you support the channel. And you get access to my buying guide, which has links to all the resources that I use to get the best possible deal at the best possible price, including credit unions and banks on that list that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing. So definitely check it out if you're interested.